And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 320. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Sketchy Jesus, aka the man who leads the Whiskey Capitalist podcast once again. And this is going to be his second appearance on the show. We still haven't had him on a panel show yet, which was supposed to happen literally like a week after you had your first appearance on the show. But I think, that was the week I got called into work that day, and I had to work literally 1 my time to 9 my time, and I was like, wow, that. And then what was worse about that day is I had to get up early in the morning at 5:30 a.m. to get back to work at 6. So
hey, you know what, shit happens.
Arguably the worst 2-day frame of work ever, in my opinion. Now I've been through a much shittier ones, but that one was absolutely hell. And she was like, there's just nobody else, and it's like, well, yeah, you kind of made it that way, but it's okay, it's fine. It's like that one League of Legends player said in an interview that he had basically did with another channel a long time ago. It's like, bygones are bygones. But for me, it's more like, fuck you and fuck you. That's how it kind of works for me. But what's been going on, man? How you been doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right, man. Fucking just day by day. We have a new co-host on Mondays, which is pretty cool. His name's Benny. We call him Channel 2 Action News. He's been in our chat for like 2 years. Really? But he never showed his face because he had he had a job where he didn't, want anyone to, he kind of had to be anonymous, and then he quit that job and now he's running his own shit. And he's like, we do our Discord stuff after every show, and we were in Discord and it said Channel 2 Action News, and I saw a camera and I was like, holy shit, everyone shut the fuck up. Channel 2, you could see who this guy is. And so it was cool, and then we had him on as a guest, and it just we've always clicked and and whatnot, but him being on camera was like, hey man, do you want to just be my co-host on Mondays? And so now he's our co-host on Mondays, and we got Sean, who me and him started the show way back when. Dude, my shirt is wrinkly as fuck, but he's our Wednesday co-host, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, we just been just kind of doing what we do. We've had some cool guests on. We got a couple cool guests coming up here soon. And man, we got our merch store finally up and running, a new one. So that's pretty cool. But, just kind of plugging away. How you been?
It's really interesting that we have our shows Monday and Wednesday as the main days.
Yep. Yeah. It's just
we didn't coordinate that. That was
it just works.
This is saying I like to always say great minds think alike.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like
dumbasses think alike, and I'm probably thinking that's more aligned with us.
Well, the way I thought about it for a show format was Monday is really good for a day because it's where everyone's already gonna pretty much get off work and expect the show because they just need something to listen to. Tuesday, I had been streaming on Tuesdays ever since 2020, and it was always so hard to get people to come on Tuesdays. It was probably the hardest day to get people on. So once I kind of removed it from my show's calendar, starting with this show, I was like, it's so much more easier just having a free Tuesday to just do whatever, honestly, because it was way easier just honestly moving my League of Legends show to that day because my co-host on that show could just do that day with me anyway. So and Tuesday, I don't know if you ever feel this, but it feels like when it comes to Tuesday, from when kind of doing this, you get this overwhelming sense of just being super tired for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the mood to do a panel show on Tuesday. Unless it's literally the other League of Legends show that I do, which is so late in the day, I could already have rested before it came up. It was like, I just couldn't do it anymore on Tuesday. And guys, if you ever do this, try scheduling for a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. PST for 4 years straight. It's a nightmare. Wednesday was easier because it's from what I was gathering,
it's the middle of the week, everyone kind of like, I'm getting ready to, I can do it, whatever.
Yeah, it feels like on Wednesdays people get off work earlier for some reason. They can get home earlier. And Wednesday I was feeling like, okay, probably a nice little time to have the show again. Wednesday, middle part of the week. Let's kind of catch up on things coming
Yeah.
up. And Saturday and Friday and Saturday have just been like the one-on-ones I have with my other two guys. But
Yeah.
even like some Saturdays with me and Laps, he's like, "Hey man, I'm just too tired, or you're too tired. Let's just kind of do it next week." It's like, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
People when they see the show, they think it's so easy just to get people, and it's just like, no. You know how hard it is to get people for these shows. You know how hard it is to get a person, not just
Oh yeah.
but getting a person that wants to be here every single week, week in and week out, month to month, year in year in. Like it's
Yep.
that's really, really hard, actually. So I think when King Style was like, man, I've been trying to find someone that's been trying to do this for a long time that's really consistent. It's like, yeah, no, I know how you feel. I went through several. What's crazy with me is I went through several groups of people, where I was like, I'm not going to settle, even though it's going to be damn near hard to find better people. I'm going to find better people because this is just not the quality I want for the shows. But people don't understand doing this and scheduling is just, you won't know how to do it or understand what goes into doing it until you do it. Actually, people just look at the show, the end result, and go, "That's just really easy. That's just super easy to do."
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing
conversation for an hour. It's like, no,
like there's just like with anything, there's like prep, there's stuff that goes into it, and like and one thing that I always keep in mind too, because a lot of people can get discouraged when they ask people to be on their show or this and that, and it's like. And honestly, because they say this about business and like promotion and advertising and all that stuff, is you're going to probably get 10% return on if you send out like my dad used to do hair. And so or I guess he still kind of does, but he did it like he had a salon, he had like all the stuff. So like it was a bigger portion of his business. And so he would send out like advertising or send out cards or send out like, the messages to clients or whatever. And usually, and what he said, which I, think that, rings true, is you'll get 10% return on that. So if you send out 70 messages, you're probably going to get about like 70 messages of like, hey, come on my show. Hey, but you're probably going to get about 7 people back. Like that's just kind of the way it goes. And if you get better, awesome. Either you wrote something great or your product is great and they, or whatever. But for the most part, so if you think about that, then it's like, if you have like those low expectations, like starting out, then it's a little bit easier to get involved in that. Dude, my shirt, Jesus, who fucking didn't do their laundry?
You gotta fire the wife. That's how it works.
No, I'm the fucking house husband. I gotta fire myself. But no, I think there's gonna be parts just when you're starting your own thing and you're doing everything by yourself. Because I mean, when you work at a job, you have someone else kind of running the things, unless you're the manager, and then you're the reason why everything sucks. But usually there's someone running something, and then you kind of have to go by that. But when you're running it all yourself, like, you got to do every aspect of it. You got to be the talent, you got to be the management, you got to be the production, you got to be all that stuff, and the and reaching out to people and the schedule, the booker and all that. And so there's gonna be spots in there where you can get discouraged. So I would say just kind of know there's gonna be some times where you're like, okay, I'm not doing this right. Why is it not working? But just you got to push through that, and you got to realize like, hey, I'm doing this because I love it, and I'm doing this because I have fun doing it. So that should be the most important thing. And then just kind of go from there and be like, I'm having fun. And then at some point it'll catch on. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't know what happened. Like we've been stuck on like 2,900 something, like 30 followers on Twitter for a year. It just kind of goes up and down. And then I don't know, out of nowhere yesterday, there were 2 accounts that were like, hey, like it was this one account that like is in Bongino's chat all the time, and was just like, hey, Dan Bongino isn't really handling the news as much as he used to be, obviously, because he's in the government now. So we need to like look at these other news channels, and then named us, and then 2 Guys 1 Coup, which is like on our Fury cast, like it's like kind of the family, and just named us. And then we got a bunch of followers. There was some other person like, hey, follow this page, and we're like, yeah. Okay, cool. Like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, and then we jumped over. We're almost at like 3,100 now. And so it's like, like overnight. So like sometimes there's just little bumps like that like
Yeah.
you don't expect. And if you just keep working at it and keep like doing what you do, someone's going to catch on. And if you fucking don't, then well, then fucking stop. I don't know. Like, but I think, what do they say? It takes at least 2 years, or at the very least 2 years, like of working a business to like, for it to start catching on and make some money, or,
Yeah.
cut back a little.
Because I
And
do feel like people give up way too
yeah,
early, or they don't see the number type of success that they were initially hoping for. So they
yeah,
think it's just not working. And it's like, you could be doing everything right. It just could not be the right time for that to
ex-
really happen.
exactly. Yeah,
Also, I've never understood this with people. Like, I'm not doing this to get shout outs by other people. I'm doing it because I just genuinely enjoy doing it.
yeah,
Now, if I
exactly.
get those shout outs along the way because someone likes what I'm doing,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
But I think people go into this kind of looking for that end goal of like some weird form of validation for doing this. And it's like, no, I literally, guys, if there was like a million people on Twitter, I would still share the shows there
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's just what you got to do to promote yourself. Like, people got to understand there has to be some level of understanding that there's a lot of other people doing this too. And that what saturation comes with it as well, right?
Yep.
And saturation with this kind of thing means, hey, you're probably not doing something wrong. It's just there's a lot of other people competing in the same
Oh
sort of
yeah.
field you are. It's just what it is. Now you could and keep in mind, I want people to understand you're not going to be doing this for a job. I know there's this thing of like, but you got to believe. No, how about just no? Just no, no, no. You are not
Yep.
doing it for a job. You're not going to get some big endorsement deal that's going to take away your current job right now as much as you would like it to be. It's not going to happen. What you
Yeah.
should do is look at it like something that you're doing for fun. And if it ever did come to that point, you should probably also assess, hey, is this worth it? Throwing away something that I've done as a guarantee for something that may ebb and flow, because this kind of thing just ebbs and flows. Like, people understand on YouTube, as much as I think their platform is just not good, there's times where literally viewership is just dead and not there. Like, a lot of people bringing that up. So what happens when you make that your livelihood and viewership just tanks because YouTube decides that they want to give less viewership and promotion through their algorithm to people that they don't see as big as people that do deserve it. Like,
Yeah.
I would just tell people, just do this for the sake of just the purpose of, you should already lay those out. So for me, I always did it because I have fun. That's my number one reason.
Oh
If
yeah.
I'm not having fun, I'm just going to just not do it. You should have a fundamental reason why you're doing it. And if anywhere you lose that, then I would say you've kind of need to look inward and reassess yourself. Be like, hey, I'm black. I should be white. I grew up with no dad. I have a single mom. No, what's crazy is after the last time we talked, the world just went and got even worse, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, I didn't know I was able to, but
I'm pretty sure you know about this because Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Yeah, we cover the news. We cover the news. We definitely know about that shit.
What was your first initial reaction when hearing about it?
Well, dude, so let me first explain. My sleeping schedule is fucked. So I wake up. I don't go to bed until about like 5 or 6 in the morning. I just stay up. I'm a night person, and then I don't wake up until like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So when everything else is going on during the day, I don't know shit about it. And then I wake up to stuff. And so I woke up and I had a bunch of messages from my co-host Sean, and then a bunch of messages from Professor Savage Dad. And then also my wife sent me a couple messages too, and I was like, whatever. But Professor Savage Dad was like the top one, like in my text chain. So I like clicked on his, and it like, when you get a message, like, so if you have an iPhone and you get something from an Android, or like, vice versa or whatever, or like I have an iPhone, so I guess I know it from this aspect better. But whenever I get a link from an Android, so it's like Facebook or Twitter or this or whatever, it doesn't show me like the preview. It just says x.com or whatever. And so underneath it, so it was a link, and then underneath it, it said, this is really gory. I don't know if you want to watch it. And so And so knowing Pro Dad and his like our sense of humor together, I thought he like was sending me like a video of like a fucking butthole or something. Like I don't, like just because it was like weird and like we don't really text too much. It's all like through Twitter, whatever. So and just waking up, I'm up for 30-45 seconds, and I clicked on that video and saw what happened, and I was like, wait, what? There's no fucking way. This is some like, AI shit right now. There's no way that just happened. And so I watched it a couple more times. It's burned into my brain now. And then obviously I go on there and see different angles and the close up and, whatever. And yeah, man, it threw me. Obviously, like we never had Charlie Kirk on our show. I've never talked to him. All I've done is watch videos just like everyone else. But it felt like he was a part of, like, we were all a part of doing the same thing. We're all doing news. We're all talking about, the culture. We're all talking about this stuff. And it just felt like he was kind of like big brother in that way, even though I'm like fucking 9 years older than him. But you know what I mean? Like it just felt like he was doing what we're all trying to do. He was just doing it at a higher level in a little bit of a different way. And so it felt like they like took one of us. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, because we're all talking about this culture and how like fucking all these idiot leftists and that do this shit, that pull this violence. And it just, we had it, and it was on a Wednesday, and I had a show all ready to go and everything, and then found that, and I was know, and so I just put up, we just added it to what we were talking about, and we ended up having Pudge on the show that night, which sucks, because I mean we love Pudge, and we always have fun and joke around and whatever, and it's just it was definitely tough to try and be our regular selves.
It was hard to describe it, even for me that day, where, this is the guy I've been watching his content for a long time, like at least 2023. I was watching at least a good full 2 years, 2.5 years, actually. And when it happened, I just I was like, what the fuck? Because I was just taking the bus home. And I had seen, I was watching an Eric July. It was Eric July's podcast he does with Heel versus Babyface. They're ripping the Soderback show. Because the title had said Charlie Kirk is shot. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I went on Twitter, typed his name in, because I forgot I was following him, but I typed his name in to see what's happening. They're like, Charlie Kirk has been shot. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? So I thought he got shot in, like, the arm. Thought he got shot like chest somewhere, not in the heart, but like just somewhere near his chest area. Maybe he got shot in the leg or something by a crazy person that walked up to a debate where he managed to trick the person. But once I saw the one where it hit him in the throat, basically hit him in the throat area, I was like, it's over. I didn't want to say that, because that would have been just like, you know how many mentions I would have got? Man, my Twitter's already a jungle. But just imagine that.
And not even saying it in like a shitty way, like, like the reaction afterwards, and like the celebration and the disgusting, like demons are fucking real. That's all I will say. Demons are real.
Even when I said these things on Twitter, it was weird, because I felt, I told you this too when I was on your show. I don't really get sad. I don't really ever feel down. I'm just like, I'm usually a pretty just go with the flow kind of person. I'm usually just never mad. I'm just not really like a sad person. I'm not a crier, none of that thing. But when that happened, I was like, man, that really sucks. And it still feels like, even so to this day, when we're doing this show right now at this time of the month after it happened, it really is just still feels like he should be here. I don't really feel like he did anything wrong to warrant that. Even if people want to believe Candace Owens when she's saying it's not Tyler Robinson who did it, even if that's true, even if that's crazy to believe, even if that's true, he still shouldn't have gotten assassinated in any form of it.
There's no reason for it. Dude, even like, I mean, even though I absolutely cannot stand fucking Destiny or Hassan or any of or Vosh or any of the left. Well, Vosh is a little bit different, and maybe I guess Destiny, because he just got found with some CP. But
I have a level to mine. When it's something like what Destiny does, I think I just start cutting a line.
Well, yeah, exactly. And also, what I will say is, I mean, when it has to do with fucking, pedophiles and child porn and any of that shit, I don't care what happens to you. You deserve all the negative everything buried under the prison. But I even just for their speech not talking about any of the other things like that. I don't believe that they should be shot. No one should be. No one should be for that. I could be speaking out of turn. I think he was caught with like revenge porn, like materials as well, and then obviously he's called for fucking violence and the genocide of conservatives and and whatever. But so there's that. But maybe I am wrong about the CP thing. I know it was but it was underage. So I mean, I guess it's CP, but it's not. It wasn't like fucking 10-year-olds. You know what I mean? It was like maybe like 16 or 17, which is still fucking disgusting. But like, yeah. So maybe I'm just generalizing that term. I guess.
Oh
it
yeah,
still is.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The person who he did it to admitted. I think he even self-admitted that person was like 16 or 17. Yeah, it's the crazy story. The reason why I haven't brought it up because I just talking about those situations is so disgusting. There's like a line I gotta go through.
Yeah.
First, like
yeah. Just real quick, Eric. I obviously know that, but I mean, there's a delineation between like kids. You know what I mean? Like little prepubescent kids and like 16 or 17. Like I'm not saying it's right at all in any way, but there is a difference. There's some nuance in that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
I think because I know me and my friend have had this conversation where he's like, I don't think it's right for he said I don't think it's right for anyone to be assassinated like that. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. But I want to understand there's a line I think we have to make sure we draw in the sand. If a person is a PDF, a person is a rapist, if a person like, I don't know, molests kids or anything you would deem very, very bad, like mega heinous, there has to be a cutoff because be honest with you, your life isn't valuable anymore. You forfeited that when you did these things.
Like people that do that, I don't see as humans.
That's not political violence. Like wanting a rapist to be dead is not political violence. That's called justification for their actions.
That's the interesting thing about our society, about our political about our political discussion that we have right now is because it kind of is political, and the reason why it is the reason why it is political.
Do you think war is political violence then? Because I know John's Longbox thought that. Like, is war technically political violence since it's kind of under a certain set of politics that you're fighting over? Like, I don't know if that really is.
I mean, I could say that. I mean, I could understand where that argument would be made from. I can sympathize with that. And I mean, because obviously, if we're looking at Russia or China or Vietnam or any of these places that like their political system is communism, so like and they're fighting on behalf of communism. But I mean, at the same point, those soldiers in communism like that, like, they're conscripted or they're like, you know what I mean? Or like, are they really actual communists? I don't know. So, I mean, I can see the argument there, but what I'm saying about it being political violence for if you did, like go after someone go after a pedo or, anything like that, I can understand how that would be political violence as well. And the reason why I say that is because the left is trying to stand up for them. The left is trying to get trying to get the calling them maps instead of pedophiles and getting pedophiles added to the LGBTQ and doing all these things that are political things that, like in response of that. And then California, where I'm at, I don't know why I point over there like it's not another place, but Gavin Newsom, I reduced like the jail time or offenses for pedophiles. It's fucking disgusting. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it is kind of political though.
Yeah. Because the thing is, for me, I would kind of define it. I'm not saying this is the actual definition. This is the way I see it. Is I don't think anyone should just be kind of assassinated or shot or have any harm come to them just for the sake of just having a conversation. Like, what did Charlie Kirk do besides just going around to college campuses and having conversations? Like the live shows, I'm actually going through the live shows. I never actually really watched those. I mostly just watched the debates and stuff, or when he was in the college auditoriums where he would have people come up in the auditorium sometimes for his debates. I personally think that the reason why people get generally so frustrated when it comes to things like that change my mind or whatever, is because, let's be honest with you, dude, I don't think really a lot of people have any foundation for why they believe a certain thing. And so when it's challenged, they kind of stamper and stutter and don't know what to really say with certain things. But it doesn't mean that should cause any violence to that person. I feel Like, if you can't defend with what you're trying to say, then maybe you're not really that educated on the thing that you believe. Like today on Change My Mind with Steven Crowder, because he brought it back. There was a few people that he brought on there that didn't even know that George Floyd was a serial criminal before he got killed, actually. Yeah. So you have people that literally don't even know what they're defending. They're just blindly doing it because
they hear
the events. Yeah.
And with that, it's like I can completely understand, because I wasn't always politically in tune with everything with the news. Like when I was younger, my dad and then also my mom and my stepdad both very conservative. My mom and my stepdad are very conservative Christian. My dad wasn't so much on the religious side, but was very conservative. Me and my dad would every time we were driving out, it was always Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage. It was like in the car. I was a kid. I didn't know what the fuck it meant, but I knew that Democrats were fucking pieces of shit, and Rush Limbaugh saying liberalism is a mental disorder. Like, so I knew that. It was just like in my brain, but I never really whatever. And then when I was playing in bands and I left and I moved to Austin for a while, I was a little bit more liberal minded than and then that also comes from like wanting to rebel against your parents and all that. And so I still fucking did not like Obama, but I had more liberal viewpoints and I kind of got away from religion and everything. And then the irony of moving back to California, becoming more conservative and more religious, or I guess spiritual. I don't know. But yeah, it's so I can understand when people don't pay attention to politics, when people don't pay attention to the news. I know every story. Like, I didn't know, all the stuff that was going on, in the news. Well, I didn't know about the Anwar al-Awlaki, or however you say his name, Obama drone bomb U.S. citizens in another country. Like, I didn't know about that when that was going on. But now that I've gone back and I'm more into politics now, and I learn about all this stuff going on, I was like, oh, there was shit fucking going on then. I just didn't pay attention to it. So there's plenty of people in our society now that don't pay attention to what's actually going on. And if you would have asked me then what I think, I would have probably said some dumb shit. Like, because I was focused on fucking, playing metal, like being in a metal band, fucking drinking and fucking smoking weed and, railing coke. Like that was me,
and women. When you do coke, you rail women.
Well, it was usually like off a butt cheek. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I'm just saying, wife, I'm sorry.
You pulled a Leonardo DiCaprio on Wolf of Wall Street, snorting crack out of a girl's ass. Oh my God.
I didn't do it out of the butthole. Okay. That's a different thing. I didn't want pink eye or pink nose or whatever
or you get there.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it's Austin, so you're fucking, you're taking risks. But like, no, it's definitely a different thing now with the way I look at news and politics, and so I can understand where someone is. I can understand where someone's coming from if they don't know what's going on in the news. But there have to be people that have the patience to sit down and talk with them about that. And it takes a certain kind of person to either be able to have that comedic and that wit about them, or that patience. Like, I don't know how great I would be in that situation. I'd probably be like, you're fucking retarded. But and we're on YouTube, so I will try and remember to not be.
Oh no, I say retarded all the time, so it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's other gamer words that I
understand someone being naive on something, and then trying to understand when someone is bringing them to a more of a understanding with something that they don't know. It's when you have people that do know, but then they just completely misrepresent positions of other people, or they don't truly understand what's going on. So like, I know you've seen it, because I know you went over it on your show. Do you remember that poll that was done by, I think, the US.gov, where it was a poll that showed that like a lot of people that were leaning primarily left believed that political violence against your opponent was somewhat justifiable?
Yeah, it was right after the Charlie Kirk stuff came out.
Yeah. Like,
it's disgusting.
People know that 62. So it's when people go, but not all leftists think like that. But this is how you know people are stupid. They're not even listening. It's not how a conversation are broken. When you tell someone that, not all, and they go, but not. Yes, I said not all. So so that would mean a majority of them think that. you know?
Yeah.
Or they'll try to basically say it like, but he was kind of poking the bear who was asking for it. What do you mean? We're not poking the bear analogy doesn't work. First of all, we're not animals. Animals literally know eat, shitting, and killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not animals.
And also, words aren't violence.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I will say I personally feel that this is the way our society is, and and I'm not saying it in some alpha male fucking red pill dude way. I'm not in any way. I'm saying
I would say it that way.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm prefacing what I'm saying with that because there are a lot of people that are on that tip that I fucking can't stand, and so it's just cringy but some of the stuff they say does make sense. Just the way they say it, it's like, okay, fucking calm down. But I think it leads with it's feminism, man. And the reason why I say that is because it's also the fatherless households, and that doesn't. Obviously, if you go back and you look at statistics, there are certain races. The black family has been. It's always it's about single motherhood, and the father leaves, that's on both of them. I'm not saying that. It's also on the government for subsidizing that and everything. But we're also but also in other cultures and also other races as well that happen. So if you do that over the whole country, then what you're basically doing is you're having children raised with a more feminine, more emotion, more irrationally driven mindset. So when that happens, then you get the irrationality of acting out and lashing out emotionally at something when it's said, just like as a female would do.
And I'm not also promotes it too. The culture promotes it through how they act, the music, how they speak, joining gangs, like looking up to very bad role models for that. Like I remember that debate Charlie Kirk had with that one white girl, and he was like, with this senator who's a black guy who's married to a white lady, has like a few kids, doing pretty good in life, or Kendrick Lamar. She said Kendrick Lamar. It's like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
This is the kind of people we're talking to here. But the thing with Charlie Kirk was the fact that conservatives always kind of looked down on younger people and said they're just too stupid to talk to. Charlie didn't think that. Charlie think that they were much valuable to talk to because they're like literally the next generation, and then their generation of kids will be the ones voting. And he didn't look at them like that. He wanted to have honest conversation with them from good faith and understand where they're coming from, but let them know, hey, what you've been kind of learned in life and what you've been kind of being taught is wrong. Just a perspective, and some believe, some didn't, some got outrageous. But why would the reason would be to get rid of that person? What could he have possibly have done? Unless it's something with the Israel thing, maybe.
Because that every time someone brings that up, I'm like, bruh, like, not everything is Israel. Not everything is the fucking Jews. I'm not gonna say that they don't do a lot of shit, but like the second the fucking Candace Owens is making it about her and her relationship, what she thinks.
That's why I said if you let in Shanique was into the movement, this is what happens. I said no black women.
But you know what? But at the same time, like it's just I don't care what your fucking race is. I don't care. But if you're good at what you do, based on merit, it's weird. It's almost like this. There was a dude who was saying, judge by your the content of your character, not the color of your skin. It's weird how we forgot about that. Yeah. And if you really actually go back and you look at any of the politics of Martin Luther King Jr. and you look at politics of conservatism right now, he was in line with all of what we believe.
It's crazy how before he was killed, he realized the Civil War Act, whatever.
Civil Rights Act. Yeah.
The Civil Rights Act.
Yeah,
might have been a mistake, and then he got killed. That's a little too coincidental.
Well, yeah, exactly, and what I think it is it's because we're all fucking human, man, and no matter what law it is, whatever rule it is, anything. I think Joe Rogan said it best when he said, in a group of 100 people, there's going to be one stupid person. There's going to be one idiot that ruins it for everyone else, and that's why we have laws. That's why we have these, and. Does that mean that every law we make is going to be perfect? No. Does that mean that everything that we do is going to just stop? No, it's not possible. The world isn't fucking perfect. So we're going to have to adjust to, what comes up. and that's kind of how we have a good country. And so, but I think what a lot has been done throughout our country, and what I will say to kind of clarify, I'm not in any way saying that I don't appreciate women. I don't appreciate the way that they think. I don't appreciate that aspect of it. But that's why there's men and women. We have two different ways of doing things, and I think that if you come at it with logic and reason and facts, which is what men usually do, that's how we operate, and then once you establish that, we establish a baseline, then we can obviously be like, okay, I sympathize with this person, I sympathize with this community, and like now we have facts, now let's try and figure out how to fix it with all of that encompassing. But if all you have is emotion and irrationality, then you can't, there's no way to go off it, because then the next person comes in and has their emotion, and then it changes, and then now we just have to fucking, so it bugs me that basic fact isn't looked at, and we're not able to, like, because I mean, if you look at what Charlie was doing when he sat down, like, he was like, yeah, I have my opinions and you have your opinions, but you're still a person, and I still want to talk to you, and I still, I might disagree with you, but I hope, I hope everything works out for you, kind of thing,
And that person, which just having conversations with people, was enough to be assassinated publicly. Crazy. Crazy. I just don't understand what would be the reason to do it, other than
because he's effective.
Maybe Tyler really just thought, because what was the quote he apparently had, was like, some hatred can't be reasoned with. This is how you know these people are utterly disgusting. Disagreement just means hatred. Like, that is lunacy.
He called him a fascist, with which fascism is authoritarianism, right?
Which is what the Biden administration did with the YouTube situation that just came out. Well,
what I'm saying is, fascism is basically where the government and corporations and big business, and they are an authoritarian state. It's basically kind of, so what you're trying to say that conservatives are, but you guys are the ones that wanted to lock the whole country down because of big pharma. You guys go with all the censorship from big tech. You guys go with all these big companies, and like, you go with the big corporations, and then you kill people for speech when you don't agree with it. That is literally fascism, dude.
Yeah, but this is how it works. There's that meme of like the point, and the person just misses it.
Oh yeah, it's just fucking straight over. But saying that to someone else, which I can sympathize, I can understand if your whole viewpoint and your whole ideology. Oh, that's me. Your whole ideology. I was like, who is that retard? Oh, that's me. What's up, Channel 2? How you doing, bud? But if your whole ideology gets challenged, I can completely understand where you'd be defensive to that. Because if someone came up to me and challenged my whole ideology, I'd be like, well, fuck you too. But also are in the society and the culture that we're in, where everyone is defensive because everything's political and whatever. So I get it.
And people just want to be permanent victims. There's no, they don't want to get the solution to life. They just want to be permanent victims. Did you see the PBD episode with, I think, Jubilee or whatever? It's like 20. Yeah. How I forgot which episode it was, like 20 versus him. Yeah. And you see the clips out of it, you're just like, oh my God. The first lady, she was like, you don't know what it's like to live like us. He was like, well, I worked all these minimum wage jobs, and I worked to get to this point where I'm at now. And she's like, you just don't understand. It's like, this is why women.
Yeah, I don't understand being a fucking loser.
Yeah, like I don't have that. Yeah, I'm not sorry. Like, I think that's the problem with people. Like, I just realized, hey, maybe you just fucking suck, and I don't want to suck with you. How about that?
Yeah. Well, not only is it an eternal victim mentality, is it everyone else is wrong besides it's accountability is kryptonite. I say it all the fucking time. That's what it is. No one is able to be accountable for their own shit. And I'm not saying that that's not on the fucking right as well. There's people that I want to fuck like. I voted for Trump 3 times, right? Do I agree with him the way he backed up the vaccine and the shut? No, don't at all.
I don't like how he handled the Epstein file situation. That was pretty bad.
I wish that he would come out and be like, hey man, I didn't handle that the way that I should have. I understand the situation we're in, and now looking back, like, you can obviously say this could change it, this could change whatever, but like, but if he at least came out and was like, hey man, that wasn't like I didn't handle that correctly, I would be like, all right, cool. You had some accountability. At least it's like a, it's something, that for all the, but no one is able to do that. And I know I'm talking about a politician fucking taking accountability for their fucking actions, but at the same time, we should be able to be like on a human level, be able to be like, hey man, I fucked up,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
I mean, I'm able to do it. If I'm this fucking retard right now can do it. Like,
it's also the thing that you had just said, which is basically people don't want to take accountability for actions. It's also the thing with black people that they do is it's always someone else's fault. Like, it's always someone else's fault. It's like, in life, there's going to be times where someone fucks you over. That's just how life is. You can't negate that. But you try to put yourself in the best situations where you make those mistakes less, and these things happen less based off like who you trust, who you let have access to you, all those kind of things. Like, are we supposed to just live in this? Maybe that's the world they truly want, like this communist utopia where everyone is nice to each other, everything is this beautiful, and there's no resources or scarce. Because I remember that black girl had said it. She had basically mentioned that from like, if you wanted communism, you'd like the resources aren't scarce and things are like, no one would ever function like that. No one's ever functioned like that, even since society began with like cavemen. It's never happened.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the things. So I mean, I can completely understand and agree that it like that in a perfect world, that sounds great, but it like it's the same thing to me as so the way what I would consider myself is libertarian conservative. I agree with a lot of libertarian principles, non-aggression principle, there's a lot of things that I agree with libertarians, but the Libertarian Party has become bastardized. And what I mean by that is there are so many people they're libertarian socialists, libertarian communists. Like, there was a fucking gay commie that they put up as their fucking presidential candidate. You know what I mean? But there are so many libertarians that that in theory have great ideals, like what they want the country to be, but that they're not living in reality. And I think that's the same thing with communists and socialists. They're not living in reality. Would it be great if there was no scarcity of resources? Yes, of course there would. Would it be great if we had free healthcare? Would it be great if we just got paid to fucking be human? Yes, of course. I'm not saying that I don't agree that those would be great things, but guess what? That can't happen because someone's going to pay for it. So if there are no classes, if there are no rich people, if there are no billionaires, no anything running the businesses and having the services, then who's gonna fucking pay for all this?
Also, another thing to add to that is this mindset that in that kind of world, every single person would think the same. That's just, these people are generally retarded. That's not everyone doesn't think the same. Some people want to be better than others, and to the degree that they'll, murder or anything else like that. Yeah, not everyone is thinking the same. Not everyone is on the same playing field. Not everyone is going to play by the same sort of rules. If all these people apparently from this Epstein list diddled with kids. Yeah, some people are willing to diddle little kids to get that far. Some people aren't. I'm not saying that's right. It's wrong. It's a disgusting thing, but people do not think the same. Some people literally on Twitter will love just getting a retweet from a big movie studio just so they can get to a movie premiere. Like, people are desperate and insane, actually.
To me, I think what it is it's the culture that has been cultivated. It is when there's been the liberal media and all that, and I know it fucking sounds cliche to say that, but I'm just saying it because it's true. There's liberal media, there's this leftist bent to everything. And when you are influenced by that as a kid growing up in cartoons and TV shows and media and all that, and movies and whatever, and then you go into high school and a lot of these teachers are leftist. Dude, when I was growing up and I was going to school, I didn't know the politics of any of my teachers. None of them.
Me neither,
So, and that's what most people say that are my age or or older, or maybe even a couple of years younger, that it wasn't a thing. But now this is what our society is. And then they go to college, right? Because everyone says you have to go to college, even if you get a fucking drum circle gender studies degree or whatever. But so then you go to college, and college is supposed to be an open forum for different ideas, right? It challenges your ideas, and it's supposed to be that kind of platform, but it's not. It's all leftist idealism. And if you're a conservative, then you are an outcast. You are the other. And so there's no ability. So you literally do think that everyone thinks the same that you do, because that's what has been cultivated. That's what's been made true. You know what I mean? So like, so I don't, I mean, I obviously I fault I fault the system. I fault, the whole thing that's, being done to that generation. But I mean, I guess I don't fault them and because this is all that they've known. So I can see that there's some fault that doesn't fall on them to an extent, but also as being a human, you need to do your own research and look up, which is racist. I know that's what the fucking media said, is doing your own research is racist, but you need to be your own human and not rely on what someone else tells you. Look things up, look into history, read what happened, read what's going on. Don't just look at one side. The amount, dude, I don't just watch conservative fucking like content creators. Of course I do, because I agree with that. But I also listen to Dave Smith, and I listen to Jimmy Dore, and I listen to fucking, all these other, I listen to a bunch of different people, because I want to know what the other side's thinking, which our media is just mostly the other side. So, I mean, it's not like it's hard to fucking miss that, but I want to know what the other side is thinking. And also like Jimmy Dore. Yeah, he's a fucking commie, but he's also against fucking authoritarianism, and he's against all this stuff, and he actually has some smart things to say about it, and he's funny, so I like that usually. But it's just like there's so many people that don't understand about branching out. The View is not. I will never.
I watch it to laugh at it. Like I remember the last
clips.
The last thing that I watched from The View was when Whoopi Goldberg compared, I guess, being a black woman in the United States of America to a lady that lives in like Iran.
No, to being a gay in Iran.
Yeah. That was the one I was like, yep, no more of these clips, because my brain will fry.
No. Or the fucking, or Whoopi Goldberg talking about how the Holocaust wasn't about racism. What?
It's kind of like the whole idea that people get like on hating Nazis. Like, oh my God. It's like the point just missing. I remember that she compared being a black woman to being a gay person or whatever, something like that. And I was just like, what are you talking? And that conservative bitch that they have, Farrah, who actually doesn't look that bad, I would smash. I would. But she was like, it's rare. They don't really
just with some like duct tape or something.
I know she disagrees with them, but she doesn't do it because it would be like 3-on-1. Then they would always cut her off, and they would always cut to commercial break. Where
I mean, I don't know though, because there are so many rhinos and like neocons that really don't, that like they're just Republicans in name only. They're basically fucking Democrats, but they just don't. They just want to seem cool.
When, like I think on one of the episodes in one of the clips, I think that was circling around, where they were asked like, which party would you vote for? But she was like, the white lady, forgot her name, and she said, I would vote, I'm an independent. But it's like, so you would vote Republican? She's like, no, I vote Democrat. It's like,
what? Then that's not independent, bitch.
Yeah, you just don't vote then. Like what the hell? And then like, I think the problem with politics, as what I've mostly learned about it, is people try to put you in a camp, and it's like, hey, I might lean more this way, but I'm not in love with everything this one side does. And people are just like, well, that just makes you a conservative. It's like, I think people just don't even listen when people talk anymore. They just want to label you something so quickly based off what you said. It's like, or it would also boil down to, God, man, like all the bullshit that happened with Jimmy Kimmel recently, where, I don't even like that guy, but do I believe that he should have free speech? Well, yeah, but it's also weird for me to kind of like that when he and his side continuously would celebrate and endorse people getting canceled that they don't like. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up what happened to a certain extent, but it's like, I'm not saying you deserve it, but that's kind of what you guys entailed. If you want to cancel people for different beliefs, then don't be surprised when it happens to you. That was my true stance. Don't be surprised when it happens to you, when you're the ones that celebrate it yourselves.
To me, I've always been very free speech absolutist. Say what the fuck you want, and the way to the way to defend against bad speech is have better speech. It's just more speech. It just discuss things and debate things and whatever. Everyone's allowed to say whatever. Obviously, not calling for violence or threats or anything like that. Obviously, but I don't know. It's kind of changed a little bit of my mind, especially the Charlie Kirk thing. Definitely, ramped up this, opinion of mine, and just the way the censoring. But I feel that I will stand up for someone else's free speech, no matter what they have to say, unless they actually called to have someone else's free speech taken away. That to me, because you aren't for free speech. You're only for free speech when you think it's okay. So the fact that, or when it's someone that you like, right? So I think that there's a delineation right there that needs to be made. It's like if you are actively trying to say that someone doesn't need to be able to, doesn't have the right to speak, or they should be, banned or whatever. I think that that's a whole different thing. And with the Jimmy Kimmel thing, fucking make your jokes. I don't care. Talk to your fucking 20,000 people, when you get paid fucking millions of dollars and they're losing all this money on you. I don't care. Fucking whatever. But it's the fact that he lied. He obviously lied and knew that he was lying. Like when he said, make the fucking joke that you want to about Trump. You're going to do it anyways. Like, I don't get whatever. But it's the fact that he said MAGA is trying to distract away from this being one of their own, which the information had already come out. It had already been out that about Tyler Robinson, about his background, about what was going on.
And at that moment in time, both sides were doing that thing of like, no, he's on your side. No, he's on your side. And it's like, I don't know if any pro MAGA Republican living with a Looney Tune. I mean, unless
a furry.
There are people on the down low. That's been a thing forever. But
exactly.
It's like the bullet casings had anti-fascist messaging on
it. Said, hey fascist catch, Bella Ciao, which is a fucking Antifa song. The ooh woo notices bulge, which I didn't even know what that was, and I had to learn about it. Now I've lost brain cells after having to fucking research that shit. But it's some furry thing. And then there was one other one. I forget exactly what the fourth one was, but there were etchings on there. And like, I mean, yeah, obviously I think conspiracies are a little bit fun. I like to kind of think about them and whatever. And there's plenty of questions to be asked about certain things, but I generally think that what has come out is accurate. Yeah. And I don't know, man. Wait, politics and entertainment need to be separated. Separation of church and state is a thing. Separation of entertainment and state should be a thing too. I do agree. I think it's difficult to do that because politics is kind of in everything, even before this very politically charged society we live in right now. I think politics are a part of everything. It's just, kind of how you deal with people and whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of too late for them, like for politics to kind of go away at this point. It's just kind of ingrained in things. Like, the other thing I wanted to mention, which is when they keep calling people Nazis and fascists and white supremacists and racists and every and bigot and homophobe word. It's like people need to understand this. Nazis are considered probably, I would say, top 3 most evil people in most people's minds. Just
communists are number 1. Oh, communists are number 2, and then pedophiles are number 1. Like,
but for the most average person, if you could just ask them, what's the most evil group of people ever? Most would say Nazis. Now, you guys must understand, if one side is calling the other oppositions Nazis, well, then when something like that happens to Charlie Kirk, they're not gonna think it's bad, because in their mind, they think they're killing someone that's the most evil person ever. In their mind, they don't think it's bad.
Dude, literally in our culture, we have a question of, if you could go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? Like, that is a societal question that we have. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so obviously, if that's a question that we're asking, then obviously the what you're doing, they don't. Someone said this. They don't call you a Nazi because you are. They call you a Nazi so they have the ability and they feel they are right for killing you.
Yeah,
because it's
them trying to plant a seed for a justification, because if they're calling, and it's also a way of like ultimately dehumanizing, because the left always says dehumanizing. They literally do that by calling someone a Nazi.
The left is projectionism. That's
like when people are like, "Hey, you're a Nazi for not wanting your kids to have their genitals chopped off." That makes someone a Nazi. That's crazy. That's really insane. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, it's fucking eugenics basically, because not only are like is there the potential of medical harm and complications during that surgery? But then you're cutting off, not pause. You're cutting off that line, that lineage, because there's going to be no procreation after that. So it is eugenics. It's just not killing that one person there, but you are killing off a line of people. It's along the lines of what Margaret Sanger did with Planned Parenthood and the eugenics of Black people of wanting abortion. Because I mean, if you go back and you read a bunch of the quotes from Margaret Sanger, she said she just wanted to get rid of Black people. So I mean,
face to me.
You're like, I want vitiligo.
Okay,
now.
I'll ask you this. Rank these 4 races in order: white, Mexican, Asian, and Black.
Wait,
and
white, Mexican, Asian, Black, and Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking difficult. Well, I'm gonna put white and Mexican at the top.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm white and Mexican.
Yeah,
so
that yeah. Being a white guy and then dating a Mexican, it's kind of biased, but yeah, Blacks remains at the bottom.
Yeah,
that much.
I mean that
I guess sports, but that's it.
And also, you're saying Indian and Asian, which is kind of the same fucking thing. They're all Asians. You know what I mean?
I got 10 of the Asian people though.
And also there are some great Indians. I mean, so
maybe it's food. If you ever seen those food videos where the dudes putting their foots in the food, gross.
Oh yeah, well they wipe with one hand and eat with the other. Like it's fucking disgusting. There is a video there is a documentary that I still haven't watched that a bunch of people have told me to watch, is like India, the most disgusting country on earth or something. I forget exactly the name of it, but like someone told me to go watch it. I was like, dude, I'm about to go eat some food. I'm not watching that right now. Like I already know with that title, it's not. I'm good, but I don't know. It's really tough because the way that I am is I try and understand. I try and understand every side that I can. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I try and come from a place of like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you would have that mentality or that opinion. I completely get that. And it's hard for me to just say now. Now if we are saying it just, for comedic sake and just for, generalization, yeah, I'd probably go white, Mexican, Asian, or maybe even like white, Asian, Mexican, Black, and then Indian. I don't know. That's probably where I would go with it.
All I need to know is they wipe their hand with their ass, then also eat the sloppy food. It's just absolutely.
I know what you meant. I think you said that weird, but I know what you meant. I think there were a couple words that were just
because you and your wife got to go visit India, and
no.
I'm
good.
I heard it was a great
why?
place.
Because I want to come back from vacation with my wife. And I think someone would try and steal her.
One's gonna get
Bob's and Vagine. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
no.
God.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like I think like generally that's probably wow,
that's why curry is spicy. Oh no. Oh man. Oh, the other thing I wanted to go over was the Erica Kirk situation.
Yeah.
Which is basically, okay, I'll tell people this. There's a lot of things in life that we see in front of our own eyes, and people say we're not understand what's going on. They say we're not looking at it correctly. But I think with the Erica Kirk situation where people are saying that she's not being genuine enough, I think being on the internet too long will do that to you. You think every single type of persona or interaction or person feeling a certain type of way is fake. I think that only comes from being on the internet too long, because if there are some people out there, I'll be honest with you guys, my mom died. I didn't cry. I'm not a crier person. I was sad, obviously. I was depressed, as I told people before, but I'm not.
Everyone has their own version of tism. It's fine.
And everyone has their own version of, grieving in their own way. When that happens, just because.
And sometimes it doesn't hit you for months, dude.
Yeah. So sometimes it might be like, good Lord, it could be like a year or two from now where she's just, I don't know, alone in her own bed thinking like, damn, hey, he's not there. People don't understand. Just because you would, I don't know, grieve in a situation doesn't mean that her doing it her way is wrong. I don't even know why that even needs to be a topic of a discussion. It's just crazy.
There was Jack Posobiec was talking about it because he was, he had a show with Charlie Kirk. He was like best friends with him, and he said he brought up a story about how Charlie he observed the Sabbath and really cared about that. So Saturdays were he turned his phone, or he like stayed away from his phone, did not have anything to do with, like, just kind of unplugged, spent time with his wife and kids, and was away from it. And everyone around him knew that Saturdays were off limits. Do not send anything to him unless it's an emergency, something like that, right? So then after, I think it was this last weekend, he was saying it was something that I wanted to tell him on Saturday, but then I was like, oh, Charlie, it's a Saturday, I can't message Charlie. And then he was like, oh shit, every day is a Saturday now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't ever do that. And he was like, and I just kind of broke down. And I think that that's the way it is. Like, I think that, and as a dude, I think there's also a different connotation with crying and being emotional and all that stuff. I'm fine, and I'm, secure in my masculinity to completely say that I definitely shed some tears, and I'll cry over some shit when I feel emotion. I don't think I'm not going to be held to some fucking standard of, like, oh, you can only do this or else you're not, whatever. Like, it's not like a biological thing. If you have a dick, you're a man. If you have a pussy, you're a woman. Those are standards that we can go by. But I think, every human's different. Just like we were talking about before, you're not going to agree with everyone. You're not going to think the same, whatever. Every person is different. So having that, I think is a little silly, but everyone does grieve differently. Everyone does react differently to things, like, and it sometimes it's, dude, I'll hear a song from music that I used to listen to when I was back in like high school, and like when I was growing up and listening to like fucking, screamo music and punk rock and like shit when I was like, growing up, and there will be a line in a song that I'll be singing like that. It just, for some reason, it catches me. For some reason, there's something that chokes me up a little bit. And I don't, it's not like I have, start flooding down tears or whatever, but I'll listen to fucking Thrice and listen to Artist in the Ambulance. And I don't know what it is. Every time it goes to the bridge in that song, I'll try and sing it, and it just chokes me up for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But everyone has their own emotions. Everyone has their own way of dealing with shit. And I think that, I think with the Erica Kirk situation, I think I completely commend her for being able to go through what she did, because she not only the forgiveness thing that threw me, because I don't know if I could do that, man. She is a better person than I will completely say that, because now, and a lot of people are saying, because they don't understand the Bible, they don't understand what forgiveness is, and in the religion that that we follow, and so they speak out of turn, and they don't get that. So they're like, oh, she forgave him, so does that mean that she didn't want to like she didn't want to like fucking doesn't want to prosecute him, or doesn't want him to like go to jail or whatever? It's like, no, that's not what that means. Like in the Bible, it says you should forgive, but but you should also be accountable and be responsible for your actions, and
I can only imagine that Erica Kirk was full of rage watching her husband being murdered, and that rage was more than grief in that moment. Yeah, like from when she had that first video of that whole like addressing the nation kind of thing, you can tell she was very angry.
Oh yeah.
And the difference between her at that moment versus a week that passed when she did that, like people don't understand. Just because you yourself would do and think and act in a situation compared to everyone else is negligent in that kind of mindset. Like everyone is going to go through that and process it differently. It's like maybe she's just not a crier. Like I know most women, I would imagine 99% of women are really emotional. It's going to be that 1% that isn't. I literally know women that aren't emotional at all, but that's like a very small minority of women. What if she just isn't emotional like that?
Yeah, but I mean, but she did
feel anything.
But she did have tears, and she was getting choked up, and there was emotion behind that, you know? And, am I going to say that there isn't any validity to the theories of, maybe she, playing some stuff up? Oh, I'm not going to say that, whatever. But at the same time, that was her husband and the father of her kids. So I'm going to, what is it? Occam's razor. I'm going to go with the opinion that are the most likely outcome is what I'm going to go with, probably. Think about the other ones, but whatever. But also, like, the thing that choked me up about it is I heard that because his, Erica and, and their kids were there, and they had to see that.
Yeah, so I
And
heard that's not true. Apparently, they weren't there. They had to
I think
fly
one of
her
them
in.
was there. I think one of them was.
But
So,
technically, they kind of were. I mean, they're gonna eventually see those videos. I mean,
well, yeah, but
she did.
what I'm saying, okay, so even if it was just one, but what I heard is that I think it was the daughter. The daughter was there, and excuse me, I don't remember names. But his daughter was there and saw that, and this is what I heard is that his daughter ran towards Charlie when it happened because it was a loud noise and she was screaming. Fuck, man, I'm already like,
Wouldn't that suck? That would suck. Yeah,
it tears me up.
That never happened. I hope that it never happened that way.
It tears me up because it makes me like it wells me up inside because it's like that girl went to her dad for protection, and her dad got shot, and it was a loud noise, and she got scared, and she ran towards him. Like, fuck, dude, like that.
But what even hurts worse is, after this is over, because this is holiday. I know they're Christians, they're probably not going to celebrate Halloween, but you do have holiday season coming up. This is going to be their very first holiday season without
their dad.
Yeah, so he's there for normal holidays. There's no more like big events. So she eventually graduates. She eventually becomes an adult. He's never going to be there for those moments. The other thing is
wedding, nothing.
And all for what? Because he just, I don't know, did the cardinal sin of just having conversations with people. That was the cardinal sin, people getting mad where he was like, but gun violence, basically, from what I gathered from it, because I know what I know people are talking about, but they're obviously misrepresenting it. Guns are going to prevent a lot of bad stuff, but stupid motherfuckers with guns will do bad stuff. You can't, you can't take them away. It's part of the Second Amendment. You cannot take them away.
Well, you're basically saying you want to not allow the majority of people to protect themselves with them because there's a couple of retards.
But that's what we're doing. The more I look, I would like you to look into this on your show too, because I've looked into it a little bit. So cars, from what I know, kill just about as much people as guns do, if not more.
Oh, way more. Way more.
So by that logic, should no one have a car then?
Yeah.
By that logic.
Or what about knives? What about alcohol? What about cigarettes? What about you know what I mean? Like
no one makes these arguments for cars. Literally, cars kill more people than guns do. They do. It's just fact. This is a factual thing.
It's like, hey, dipshit. Most
it's the retard behind the car that killed the people.
Orange Avenger said Lightning McQueen is a death machine. That's I literally, when you said cars, I was like, the movie? That's where my brain first went.
I was automatically thinking of that song, Life is a Highway. God damn it.
Now I'm thinking of The Office and Michael Scott.
Oh no.
It
sucks. Most
deaths are accidents.
Like what happened to that church in Minnesota with that Looney Tunes shooter. Like, it sucks that happened, but even with that happening, you can't take people's guns away. It just can't happen because literally there are situations where I've seen videos where people had a gun, pulled it out, and that person stopped. There was a video in LA, San Francisco, years ago. A person walked up with a fucking two-piece. A lady pulled out a gun, popped the guy in like the shoulder, knocked him down, and they got him. Like, I don't know why people want guns gone. Like, and keep in mind, more gun restrictions didn't help keep them alive.
It's like, wait, hold on.
So advocating for the shit that they wanted advocated for didn't even help keep them alive anyway. So it's worthless, honestly.
Well, yeah, and if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have them. Period. And when
get them now, right? Just get them now with restrictions, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're telling me that having a gun-free zone doesn't immediately tell a criminal that, oh, sweet, there's no one that can protect themselves here. Like,
what they never mention is how many lives people with guns save and how many crimes are. They only look at one side of it because that's how they justify in their minds. My oldest son watched it legit hundreds of times. 60% of gun deaths are suicides. I would imagine that. Yeah, Eric. I think there is actually a CDC study on that, and the number of crimes prevented is astronomical. Yeah, but it's that thing that people do that thing in their mind where because they only see bad side of something, then good never exists in it.
Yep.
Or it's just not as prevalent in their mind. It's like, if you choose to live like that, sure, but then you're gonna be hating life a lot, honestly.
Yeah. And that's but that's also like, I think, having the
Europe is trash. I mean, Europe is just garbage. Europe is literally garbage. And people saying we should be more like Europe and have no guns. Yeah, look at what's good.
What are you talking about?
This guy, because I made this post on Facebook, and he was like, "But Europe doesn't go through this, and they kind of ban most guns." Yeah, and look what happened to them. How about we don't do that? How about we never become anything like Europe ever? Because Europe is garbage. How about none of that?
Yeah. Oh, so when you banned guns, how drastically did the knife crime rate go up?
Because I've always had knife crime. Also, without any guns, how would you stop that invasion that's probably happening right now in your country? Oh wait, you can't because. Your reasons, or a veteran in Europe retweeting something and it gave someone anxiety, and that caused that guy to go to jail for a couple of days.
Yep.
We're basically doing Rurouni Kenshin in real life.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. And I think the only way to deal with it, what we got going on, is doing stuff like what we're doing, is talking about it. Yeah, of course, making jokes about it, because that's how we deal with horrible shit. That's, a lot of people are, the humor is how you deal with things, and like, and there are people that are like, yeah, well, what, like, because all the people that were celebrating Charlie Kirk, which is what I said, demons fucking exist on this planet. Like, I've always been, I was raised Christian, kind of went away from it for a little while, but, definitely come back to it. I'm not the best Christian. I have the mouth of a fucking sailor. And obviously, just like anyone else, I can, be better at it. But I always knew that there was evil in the world, but this made me see there are actual, like, demons. You know what I mean? Like, there's actually demons walking among us.
Well, it's crazy to see this many people celebrating it as if like they're celebrating Hitler dying. It's like, people are insane. Like, they're literally
remember? Do you ever remember Hitler looking at people and be like, I don't agree with you, but I hope everything works out for you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know that. So it's crazy. What fascist do you know allows someone to walk up to a mic and have open dialogue with them and agree and disagree on conversation? Not any fascists I know, because keep in mind, I don't know any. Because
hold on, I have an answer. None.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I gotta put this one away. Zero, none.
It's not invisible meme. That's the funny part. No.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what is pretty fascist? An entire regime going, hey, we need to censor Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and only push our talking points and then banning anybody else. I hear that's pretty fascist, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that could you imagine Hitler change my mind? I mean, I like, in my brain, yes, I could actually imagine it, but it wouldn't. You come up to change your mind and be like, like, you're dead. No, what's up, Pro Dad?
How you doing, man?
I was actually talking nice about you earlier, but you missed it, so whatever.
Talking nice about a cloud chaser? God damn it, dude.
I know.
Fucking hell, man.
This cunt. But no, so like there was a lot of them were saying, when everyone was talking about the like celebrating, and I can't believe that people are celebrating, whatever, and it's like, yeah, well, you guys were celebrating it. It's fucking disgusting. And they're like, oh, well, you celebrated when like Paul Pelosi, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no one fucking celebrated. We were all laughing because it was fucking weird. Like, hold on, he's in his underwear, and then there's another fucking dude in their underwear with a hammer. Like, it's a weird situation. We're all fucking laughing about it because it's fucking awkward. It was just like fucking Biden tripping up the stairs. Fuck, like, it's just like, what? And then there was something else that I was going to say, but Pro Dad jumped to the chat and it totally fucking derailed me. So you win. Shut up, Pro Dad. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a shitty society we live in, but I think that it's, just like throughout history, it's the pendulum swinging back, man. It's I think that the pendulum has been like, so if it's left and right, the pendulum's over here, and it was on its way swinging back towards conservatives. Trump won. We got House and Senate. There's a lot of the pendulum swinging back. But I think with the Charlie Kirk thing, it's fucking.
What do you think about the whole government shutdown that recently just happened?
Well, I mean, I think it's a typical thing that the leftists do, which is they want to it's all about optics. They say they're for the people. They say they're for the working men. They say they're for all these things, but all it is for them to line their pockets and optics. So instead of actually thinking about actual Americans, they would rather play the optics of Trump is shutting the government down. He's running all of the branches of government. The Republicans are in charge and they're the ones doing this. It's like, no, we don't want to fucking pay for illegal immigrants and their medical benefits. So, like, how is this even a fucking question?
It's like, yes, we like both sides should agree. Yes, we want better affordable health care. Cool. For US citizens.
Yes.
That's that's the caveat. You people who were born here, or it's like when you have these like when people say you're for mass deportations, it's like people don't understand this. Just because a rule wasn't enforced enough doesn't mean it never existed. You can't actually enter the country illegally. This has been a thing, and I forgot some sort of U.S. Section Code B1A ZB thing where it was been around forever. You actually can't enter the country legally. They just didn't enforce the rule.
Yeah, but according to Jasmine Crockett, if you commit a crime, you're not a criminal. So,
right? Yes. Yeah.
Hold on.
Man,
Wait.
New York is going to be horrible with that guy coming up. Jasmine Crockett. Oh my God, what an actual moron! They can't even admit they're doing it though. They are playing word games when the benefits damn well get to illegals at the state level. California does it. California for sure does it.
I mean, luckily I'm in a fucking red area in California, but I'm here. So
but they say certain things like, but illegals can't purchase health care. It's not how you would get it though. Okay. It's called Medi-Cal or Medicaid. One of them does it. One of them for sure does it. Like
it just and there's so many things and and all these companies that Eric, well, everyone can feel sorry for the both of us. But yeah, it's very, because all of these companies and all the ones that post up a rainbow flag in June and fucking do the the black square and all this whatever, they don't really care about any of those issues. It's just because it's a marketing ploy and just they go for it. But then since there's that and either these leftists don't understand that and just think that these companies are supporting them, or they do know it and they're just using it to their advantage. Like it just it turns those people that we were talking about that don't pay attention to shit. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, see, we're on the right side of history. No, retard, you're not. You're just dumb. That's it. You're just dumb.
Goodness, like I just don't get it when it comes to this mindset. Like if someone breaks into your house, but they don't assault you and they don't do anything to you, and they just pitch a tent in your house and start living there.
Yeah.
That is the same thing as what illegal immigration is. Someone is illegally entering your place to live and just living there. But as long as they don't bother you, then that means they didn't commit a crime. It's like, that thing in life called breaking and entering. You can't do that. You can't even do that. So you can't do that, but they're going to allow other people not in this country to do that. It's like,
they're all burglars. That's literally what they are. And they're not criminals that are coming in. Well, I mean, by definition,
when you break the law.
I mean, not according to Ratchet Crockett, but when you cross the border, you have committed a crime. That means you are a criminal. So every single one that has come here is a criminal, illegal alien.
Oh God, man, I hate people sometimes.
Dude, and the thing that bugs me too is they're redefining words or changing the wording.
What is the woman thing is just the worst one.
Well, with everything, it's affirmative action is now DEI. Yeah, and
everything's a social construct to these people. Everything's a social construct.
And political correctness is now woke. Like there's everything changes, and now so it used to be illegal aliens, right? Then it was illegal immigrants. Mm-hmm. Then it was migrants. Then now what they're trying to do is change it to what is it? Undocumented citizens.
Citizens. Yeah, I remember that one.
That's what they're changing it to now. That's like saying sovereign citizen. It makes no sense. It It's literally a fucking oxymoron. Like undocumented citizens. That's not a thing. But that's how they're going to say it. So then all the fucking retard cult followers just, well, they're citizens. They're just undocumented. Do you know what that means? Like, all I gotta say is, this is fucking Jonestown with, like, the leftism is Jonestown without the Kool-Aid.
Which one, grape or orange Kool-Aid?
The one with the fucking cyanide in
it, or the Xanax.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than Xanax.
Healthcare in the U.S. is the most clear example of what fascism actually is: privately owned, regulated by the government, and both have their hands in each other's pockets. They are making choices for people's lives without being elected officials. Yeah.
It's bureaucracy.
But evidently won't see it that way.
Evidently, according to Channel 2 Action News, I am the ruckus of Hispanic people. I mean, where's the lie?
Oh my God. I can't do it with people anymore. Maybe I just go and live in the mountains or something and just be one with nature. No, I'm not doing that. That'd be gay. Because I like having internet next videos. So.
But then you would also turn into a Randy Weaver. You know what I mean? Where you're just in the middle of nowhere and it's fucking Ruby Ridge. I don't know if you would, I don't know. Maybe you no, get in with the white separatists up there.
I couldn't even make a fire. Like, I'm good, man. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah. No, then we just have our own little commune, and then we,
Oh shit. So what else is gonna end up happening for Rumble recently? They announced that there's gonna be potentially some better search algorithm or search engine coming soon with some sort of partnership that got announced today or whatever. That's like,
dude,
that's pretty interesting, I guess. But I mean, I hope
when it comes to like Rumble, that's the main platform that we stream to. We stream to Rumble and we stream to X. But I mean, X is just kind of there since we already paid for the, for the check. Figure why not? But Rumble, we just stream there. Like I don't follow up on all the shit that happens. I don't, whatever. I mean, if it gets shut down, I mean, that fucking sucks, but we'll go find somewhere else to fucking stream. So there's a lot of people that complain about it and say all this shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously, just like anything else, like we've said, nothing's perfect. So obviously there's opinions that I have. Like, I think that maybe instead of trying to do 18 things at once, they should maybe focus on a couple of things at once, make those good, and then move on to the next thing. Like the way I kind of think of it as like with like Tom Homan and ICE and and all that. Like, so first they're gonna work on shutting down the border, right? Cool. They shut down the border so that there's no influx or no one coming in. So they have that down, and then they can move on to getting people out. They're not doing everything at once, and I think that kind of mentality of doing all that stuff, I think it's I think doing everything at once is kind of a detriment, because like Rumble Studio, it's okay. I mean, it's free, so that's cool, but I mean, it's not amazing. So I mean,
free like my wife, she's for the streets, so fuck her.
Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna king shame whatever y'all are into, but but I think that if they focused on certain things, they would be able to have better retention. They would also they would be able to have better stuff on the side for creators. And but at the same time, what I will give them is they have grown massively, even with a YouTube or a Twitch or any of these other things that are around. They have grown massively in a small amount of time. So I will give them that credit and give them that. So I think that I think that there are positives and negatives, and as a society, and it's just human nature to look at the negatives first. I mean, if you fucking watch our show, we talk about fucking all the dumb negative shit that happens in the world.
So. Oh, I used to remember that one. Yeah, Stunning and Brave.
Yes,
thank God. Thank God no one says that anymore, because that was cringe then, and it's just still cringe now. It's one of the, or it's like man. I hope things come to a certain place where I'll be able to understand. I do not want to unite with people that want you dead over a difference of opinion. That's just shouldn't happen at all. You know, they
Mhm.
want you dead just because you think differently from them. That should be someone you never want around you. You would
Yeah.
just hope there's some sort of like agree to disagree premise and just leave it
Yeah.
at that. That's kind of
I
all I
think
want, but probably not going to
I
happen.
yeah, I mean, I think I think also we are in a culture of instant gratification and just like everything happens on our phones. We get everything immediately. We think everything is we think we are the ones in the important, timeline, or in the time zone, whatever. But I mean, if you go back and you think about it, like during during the Rodney King riots and the race riots, going on then in the 60s, there were there's a pendulum, it swings back and forth, and it just, I mean, we are definitely, I think, in heightened times because we have the internet and because we have the ability to see things immediately. Like before within the Rodney King riots, you had to see that on the news. Like you didn't immediately like you rate news or radio.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but now you fucking scroll Twitter and you see everything that's going on, and the news cycle is just so quick, and there's always so much going on. And with that human nature, if we look towards the negative things, it's usually a lot of negative shit. So I think I think there's validity to the people that say that it's just getting worse. I don't know where we go from here, or anything like that. But I'm not saying that there isn't any validity to that, or the people that say that there might be a civil war. I don't fucking know. But I think that there's the same amount of people that were saying that back during the race riots in the 60s and then during the fucking Vietnam and all the protests and all the shit that was going on because of the war, and then the 80s, and then I think there was always been periods of that. But I also think that we've gotten through so much other shit before that I think we're gonna come out okay. But I think it's just I don't know. I think it's just a newer version, a newer battlefield. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think the pendulum's going to swing back. I think at some point it's going to swing so far right that
technically it's left.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like the pendulum was so far left with all the fucking woke shit and having fucking troons on the White House front White House front gross. Lawn, showing their tits and everything. But I think it's going to swing back because I mean, if you remember, with all the Christian conservatives trying to censor, movies and music and all this and coming after video games and doing all that stuff, which I will say I do think there was a positive outcome out of some of that. Obviously they went crazy, but there was a positive outcome of that with the little parental advisory thing, because I do think that there are things that kids shouldn't hear. Just my personal opinion, because your brain develops at different times. I mean, if you develop too early, then and you're female, you probably become a slut. I'm just saying there's things that maybe we should have some guidelines.
I expect that of women. Women's destiny is just being that. Good Lord. At some point, they get ran through, and then they're just whores. That's just how it works.
Everyone on in the chat, he said it. I didn't. I'm just here.
Go to college, get dick down, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm just sleeping with 50 dudes now." All right, I guess. They're like, "Why did I want to marry me?" Yeah, no one wants to marry the town cum dumpster or cum dispensary. Like, holy fucking shit, dude. These women are stupid. I truly don't like them. But
yeah. I mean, generally, and I obviously I think it's the times we live in, but honest, I think what it is also we are all able to, not saying that we didn't have a voice, not saying that we didn't have free speech, not saying that we weren't able to speak our mind at any other time in history, but I think that I think that since we have social media, since we have the internet, and it's not just one or two platforms, we have fucking hundreds of them, so we all have the ability to make our voice heard, and we all have the ability for someone to fucking take that out of context and put it up here or whatever. But I think we have the same amount of idiots, but we just all are more aware of those idiots now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're all able to see them.
But I'm the genius through and through. So the last few things I'll ask you before we head out, which is the first thing is, do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Well, not that I can think of. I mean, we just got shows and guests and awesome. We're doing our show on it's the Whiskey Capitalist. If you didn't know, that's the podcast I do. It's Mondays and Wednesdays. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got Channel 2 Action News, who is in the chat on YouTube right now. He is my co-host on Mondays, and then on Wednesdays, Sean Cav is my guest there. And then I'm going to be on Lindy Riggs' show on Saturday, and there's a big topic going on right now. I didn't really want to, discuss it in too much detail because it's kind of crazy, but there's someone who is like in our group, or not in our group, but like kind of tangentially related. He was a gamer, and we found out that in 2021 and 2022, he got convicted of having some CP on his computer.
World?
Yeah, and we all found out about it on Saturday, and just were trying to kind of figure out how to respond to it and whatever. And Sean and I responded to it last night on the show. It was the first 40 minutes, and we banned him, blocked him, deleted all of his messages, any correspondence. He was a guest on our show before, privated that. I was a guest on his show at one point, so I felt personally I needed to respond to it. And there have been some responses from some other people, or I guess lack of response, that haven't really been too happy with. It's kind of disappointed about it. And if anyone knows Lindy Rig, he does not hold back. So I have a feeling Saturday is going to be a pretty spicy show between the two of us.
Wait, but so just to clarify, someone that you had on your show a few times
as a guest,
as a guest, you found out he was a disgusting human being.
Yes, and it's not allegations. It's not an allegedly situation. He was convicted for it in 2021. There's the articles and arrest records, and and everything. So it's not like something where, like, because we don't like talking about allegations. We don't like speculate. Well, I mean, we'll speculate every once in a while, but when it comes to something like that, and Channel 2 Action News says he admitted it. Yeah, exactly. So, and there are some people out there that are responding to it that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they're saying that anyone who had anything to do with him knew all along, just knew and just didn't say anything about it. And I'm like, all right, motherfucker, like, we found out on Saturday, and by Wednesday we responded to it.
Like I don't do background checks on people before they come on the show. It's not something we do.
I mean, I mean, maybe there's silver lining to everything. Maybe that does make other people do some due diligence. Mm-hmm. And kind of look into some people here. And if you don't know them, maybe be like just a fucking Google search. There's you can learn a lesson from anything, and I think that's what makes you a better person and more aware of the surroundings you're in. So I think I think that like, does it suck having to go through that and having to discuss that? Yes, obviously. But I'm also very glad that it was brought to our attention. And I thank you. I'm not going to say who told us or anything like that, because I don't want to put any fucking heat on them for any reason. They don't need it. But I am very thankful to them that they told us and they made us aware of it. And we, like I said, like, our response to it was a little delayed, because because we're not super involved with him. Like, he was in our Discord. Again, I had him as a guest on the show. It was mostly when I was it was just me on Monday, so I was having guests all the time, and so I kind of and so I personally wanted to respond to it and just to disavow and not be in that, camp at all. And then I was a guest on his show one time. And so I felt it necessary that I say something out against it. And then but there are people that he was more intertwined with, and like kind of like a gaming kind of crew or group with, that their response left you wanting more out of it. Like, his name wasn't said, and it just said sexual misconduct. It didn't say, you see what I mean? It was just kind of like, and it sucks because I respect and I like a good couple of the people in that group. And so it just made me just kind of like, nah, we're not going to do that. Like, we're going to address it, and we're going to say what it was. Yeah. And, man, he's privated his fucking Twitter, and he's taken down his Rumble channel, and he's done all this stuff, which kind of actually makes me mad too, because, like, at least make a statement, because now we are having to fucking deal with the aftermath of your fucked up bullshit.
Good Lord. Yeah, that's why I make sure
But
before anyone comes on the show, I get a good feeling of who you are because
yeah,
good Lord.
yeah,
Man, hey, oh
yeah,
shit, that's a horrible thing to go through. God
yeah.
damn, man.
So I mean that's going on Saturday. I'm going to be talking about that with Lindy, so it's going to get spicy. So tune in. It's Lindy Rig on Rumble, and then yeah, we're just the Whiskey Capitalist on Rumble, and our circle took immediate action and then afforded the grace to those closest to the stream. Exactly, that's kind of what we did. We were like, all right, we'll give you until Wednesday. I even said that. I was like, we're talking about it on Wednesday, so whoever's going to tell them, let them know that we aren't going to talk about it on Wednesday. You have that much time to have your response.
What a disgusting human being. I hate people like that.
Yeah.
Like if these people were literally dropped from the Empire State Building, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
They're disgusting human beings. That's where I draw my line. My line is no. If you do stuff like that, I'm sorry. If you were gone, I wouldn't miss you. You were a terrible person.
Yeah, and I think that I think that
Grace would cheer for them.
Yeah, exactly. And see that's another reason why too, because when we have talked about people in the news or any of that, with CP or pedophilia or anything like that, we said some wild shit. So I think it would go against our integrity, and it would be very hypocritical if there was someone that was tangentially related to us, that someone we had on the show, anything like that that we had any communication with, and we didn't say something about it. I think that would affect our integrity and our reputation and take away the validity of what we say.
Those people get no sympathy, rights, nothing. If I ever find out that happens, no, I would hope you would be kicked off the Empire State Building.
But exactly. I mean, a good couple of people like in our group talking about it. I've said I don't understand how because this was a Rumble creator. So I don't understand how they didn't do a background check on him, or they didn't realize this. Have we looked? Has anyone looked into his background and seen if maybe he's still on probation and this is against his fucking probation or whatever? Being able to, because I mean, if you're streaming and you're a gaming streamer, you potentially stream to kids.
You said the person's name, or I think you did.
It's I won't say his full name because I'm not going to be that guy. You can look it up if you want to.
Channel name, yeah,
it's Madhouse.
What I think? Why do I that remind? Wait a minute.
Beard, kind of chubby, wears glasses. I know that explains like a lot of gamers.
Sure, I'm pretty sure I have seen that channel.
Here, hold on.
I have.
I will. Here, I will just don't show this while I'm on because I don't want to be that guy.
You're fine.
But I will here, let me find the article. I will send you the article that we got.
Good Lord.
Let me see, where is it?
I'm pretty sure I saw that person in the replies of
I'll put it in the private chat so you can take a look at it yourself.
I know I've potentially heard of that name or seen this person, at least in threads on Rumble. Or it's like not in threads on Twitter we're replying to bullshit about Rumble. I'm pretty sure I heard this person's name.
Yeah, I sent you the link in private chat.
Oh wow, yeah, I know I've seen this person.
Yeah,
you never know.
Does stoner streams and whatever, and does gaming streams and whatever. So again, I'm not going to be I'm not the type of person. I don't think doxing is great. I think that there is. And I know there's plenty of people that are going to say, yeah, well, it's public information and all that. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But I would, there's certain things, if he's that crazy to do some shit like that, he's probably crazy enough to, maybe take some legal action or anything like that. Which I know wouldn't be slander, it wouldn't be defamation, any of those things, because it's actually a conviction. It's actually verified things. It's not allegations. So, but at the same time, I just don't want to take it that far. On that end, does that make sense?
Yeah, even just
kind of cover our ass.
Even just the quote that I just read from this person, what a horrible person. Kick you off the Empire State Building. Let's drop you off in Snake Island next to Brazil.
Yeah. And I completely fucking agree, dude. I don't think that they're human, so I think the human rights there don't really apply.
Yeah, like that's not political violence. That's not politics. That's just that's being a literal good human being. Honestly.
I mean, we could just be like we were with little kids, and when we were little kids, and using a magnifying glass on an anthill.
True. Or
I mean,
what's that dude who takes the bat to that guy's head in that GIF?
I don't know, but
One of the funniest things ever. I like using that on these people. But the last thing I'll ask you, man, is do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Yeah. So obviously my co-hosts, Channel 2 Action News and Sean Cav, you can find him at I'm Sean Cav, SHAWN on any of he's on Pickaxe, on Rumble, on Twitter, on any of that. Also Pickaxe, Jeff Dornick. We've had him on as a guest. He's the owner and the founder of Pickaxe, which is kind of like a Twitter ish kind of thing, but it centers around a lot of articles. There's content creator stuff. Pudge from Rumble, he is now the new creator. I forget exactly what his title is, but he just started working with that. So definitely want to shout him out. Pro Dad, obviously he's a great dude. I mean, I hate him, but he's a great dude. And
Such
then yeah, he's a cunt. But and then also a guy named Brandon. He runs a channel called Beyond Formal. Great dude. He is kind of like our Charlie Kirk. He goes out and he does the man on the streets. He's very, very Christian, very he was a co-host on Vice Show for like about a month and a half, just while I needed to fill in. And I tried to get him to cuss so many times, but he doesn't. So I just thought it was and then he just had an experience with going out to a protest where he had to be a little bit physical with a protester that was coming towards his wife, which is the videographer when they go out there. So, and he cussed. So I thought it was fucking hilarious. And so we had him on and showed him. And I think it was great that I thought it was great that afterwards, after the whole thing died down, he was on his live stream and he goes, well, there you go, chat. You got me to, if you always wanted to hear me cuss, well, there it is. And I'm sure Ian from the Whiskey Capitalist is going to play this immediately on his show. So he gave me a shout out. So I'm going to give him a shout out. But he's a great dude. And I mean, and obviously Lindy Rick, I'm gonna be on a show on Saturday. A great dude as well, hilarious. But yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I got a band, the little project that I'm doing. It's called Hero in Me, and we put out our debut album May 30th. It's on Spotify. It's on all those things. I gave you those links in Twitter. I don't know if you put them in the description, but yeah, if you want to check it out, it's cool. If you like metal music, go check it out.
Hell yeah! So
thanks for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, anytime. It's always great having you on the show. It's always good conversations. Shitting on women and shitting on black people. I love it. It's my favorite pastime. So, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We will see you guys in the next one. Have a great